On today's show, Volkswagen readies a new over-the-air software update that will make its ID3 and ID4 electric cars charge at a higher power level, reducing charging times. The ordering process and hinted specs for the Ford F150 Lightning get revealed, and Hoonitron Ken Block shows off the first electric car built for him by Audi, so he can go gymkhana it. These stories and more coming next. This is Ecotricity's EcoTEC Roundup show from New Zealand's only carboNZero certified renewable electricity company. We only source from wind, hydro and solar, and we're the leading supplier of electricity to electric vehicles in New Zealand. Switch today at ecotricity.co.nz. Welcome back to another weekly roundup in the world of clean cars and green energy. We are fast approaching the end of the year, but the news just hasn't slowed down. We start today's show with the news that Volkswagen is about to push version 3 of its vehicle operating system for its ID3 and ID4 electric vehicles. As teased by Volkswagen Group CEO Dr. Herbert Diess on LinkedIn this week, the new software update improves a whole host of things inside the car, improving the functionality of Volkswagen's ID Lite and tweaking the augmented reality head-up display, if fitted. There's also tweaks to the voice control software for a more natural language experience and improvements to the park assist function, handing over more control to the car when parking. Semi-autonomous functionality has been increased too, with automatic lane change on indicator tap when in semi-autonomous cruise control. But perhaps the most important feature for customers is an improvement to the car's charge level, fitted with a larger 77 kWh packs. Maximum charge speed has been upped to 135 kilowatts from 125 kilowatts, cutting a whole 9 minutes off a 5 to 80% charge under ideal conditions. Just over a week ago, while Winter was out driving the Porsche Taycan GTS Sport Turismo, check out his first drive to port below if you haven't, Kate Walton-Elliott was on a different launch trip driving the Hyundai IONIQ5. And while that video isn't quite ready to publish yet, we are working on it as quickly as we can, Hyundai has wasted no time after the press launch, announcing the starting price of its US market IONIQ5, as well as beginning deliveries. At $40,925 before incentives, but including destination charges, the entry-level IONIQ5 is priced to directly compete against the Volkswagen ID4 and Nissan Ariya, not to mention the Ford Mustang Mach E. Meanwhile, the more expensive, long-range, all-wheel drive variant starts from just shy of $45,000, with the highest spec model touching 47 and change. Kate really enjoyed her drive, and I cannot wait to share it with you, so keep your eyes peeled. It's coming very soon. Promise! Rivian published its first quarterly earnings report this week, showing that, just like other automotive startups before it, becoming a profitable automaker is hard. With what it says as 71,000 pre-orders for its R1T and R1S on its books, up from 48,000 in September, Rivian stated that it raised $1 million in revenue during Q3, essentially off the back of the first 11 R1Ts it delivered at the end of the quarter. Q4 deliveries continue to ramp up, with both R1T and R1S customers now getting their trucks, and an expected 1,000 or so vehicles likely to be delivered by the end of this year. This is a few hundred vehicles less than Rivian had aimed to deliver. And while that figure may be small, remember that Rivian is also rolling out Amazon-branded electric delivery vehicles, meaning overall production is higher than it might appear. During Q3, Rivian reported $1.2 billion of losses on a GAAP basis, slightly more than Wall Street had hoped. As part of its earnings call, Rivian also announced it's building a new $5 billion assembly plant east of Atlanta, Georgia, with the goal of building vehicles there by 2024 to supplement its Illinois facility. This week, the last of Ford's 2021 model year Mustang Mach E's roll off the production line, and we're readying the official start of 2022 model year Mach E production next week. And that means that Ford is releasing details of what's changed for the model year. Last week, we told you about the price increases, and this week, the official EPA ratings are out. Although the Mach E uses the same battery pack as it did in previous model years, Ford has unlocked more range by reducing the battery buffer a little. This means a standard range car like the Select and Premium standard range rear-wheel drives are given an extra 17 miles, 27 kilometers of range, while the Premium extended all-wheel drive versions get an extra 7 miles, 11 kilometers. Interestingly, the GT and GT Performance variants variants don't officially get a range increase, but they do get access to the same capacity as the non-GT models. Ford plans to roll out the increased range capabilities as an OTA for previous model years, so watch this space. It's no secret that Toyota has, for a very long time, been a little hostile towards the idea of fully electric vehicles, producing its first and second generation excellent Toyota RAV4 EVs as compliance cars and choosing instead to focus on hydrogen fuel cell and hybrid technology. But this week, Toyota surprised everyone by holding a major news conference at which it teased concepts of some of the 30 new electric vehicles it wants to make by 2030, all with the BZ prefix to their name, BZ meaning Beyond Zero. The company showcased many concepts, including a mid-sized SUV, mid-sized sedan, full-size SUV with third-row seats, and a pickup truck, as well as a hot hatch, FJ Land Cruiser-inspired 4x4, and even a two-seat sports car. Along with these vehicles, Toyota also showcased the microbox and mid-box commercial vans. At the centre of its push, the company promise is affordability rather than range or performance. Given Toyota's interest and investment in solid-state batteries, which should lead the way to more affordable vehicles, that strategy, while late, could just pay off. However, we are going to have to wait and see. With the Ford F-150 Lightning reservations closing off last week as Ford hit 200,000 hand raisers, Ford is now readying itself to let customers transition those reservations into confirmed orders. This week we learned some of how that process will work, with several sites leaking the booklet that Ford prepared for dealers to explain the ordering process. Starting in January, Ford and its dealerships will begin reaching out to reservation holders to convert those reservations into confirmed orders. Ford will also allow dealerships to promise a certain number of customers per dealer. The number will depend on how many reservations the dealership has on its books. It also looks, although not to be confirmed, that Platinum and Lariat models will be the first to ship, followed by XLT and Pro. There's already price gouging going on, but not all dealers are price gouging. Also revealed this week, through an unconfirmed secondary source, is the claimed battery capacity of the larger range pack, 130 kWh usable. Given expected efficiencies though, we personally remain unconvinced of that particular figure. As part of the Biden administration's announcement of its intention to expand the number of electric vehicle charging stations from the 100,000 sites in the US today to more than 500,000, Vice President Harris was filmed this week plugging a Chevrolet Bolt EV into a public charging station. And while the experience was a great photo opportunity, she came under some significant fire for not appearing to know how to use the charging station, asking how drivers know it's working, since, as she said, there's no glugging of gasoline or vibration as you would get with a gas pump. The EV community and certain political groups jumped on this apparent lack of knowledge as an indication that the White House is somehow disinterested in EVs. But here at the channel, we're taking a different approach. While we'd have rather seen more preparedness from the White House, Vice President Harris's questions perfectly echo the many, many people who reach out to us on a weekly basis asking really basic questions about EVs and EV ownership. We are in a bubble of our own, and sometimes it's all too easy to forget that not everyone has the same experiences that we do. More education is the key. Last year, Nissan Europe announced that it would be closing the Nissan Barcelona plant where European market NV200s were made, including the ENV200 minivan, panel van and taxi. There were significant attempts to keep the factory open, with both regional and national attempts to encourage Nissan to stay in Barcelona, but earlier this week the plant did sadly close, ending many years of ENV200 production in Europe. This means that the ENV200 is officially no more in terms of production, with remaining stock due to be sold off, but no more due to be made. As someone who would have purchased an ENV200 for my family had I stayed in the UK, I've got to say that I am sad to see this vehicle go. Even though the ENV200 had its flaws and it wasn't exactly a comfortable ride, its versatility as a people carrier was really unmatched. Nissan does have plans for a replacement vehicle, the Nissan Townstar, but it isn't being produced yet. It's due to enter into production sometime next year at a facility in France owned by the Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi Alliance. Unless you've lived in Europe or you happen to be a complete car nerd, you may not know about the special vehicle classifications that allow low-speed, low-power vehicles to be sold and driven sans permis, quite literally without a licence in some countries, although these days most European countries do actually require you to have one. An offshoot of a French law designed to let citizens drive small vehicles in remote rural areas, the sans permis class has led to many awesome cars, including the diminutive Citroën Ami, an Ola Electric two-seat low-speed EV. We have covered it several times before on the channel, and because of extremely high demand, the car and its rebadged Opel, Vauxhall and Peugeot siblings is selling well. But this week, Citroën cashed in on the demand for this ultra-cute, ultra-affordable EV and showcased a new concept based on the same, the My Ami buggy concept. It's a cute derivative without doors that's part beach buggy, part golf buggy, and 200% character. Just sign me up, please. While a lot of our channel's coverage comes from European and North American sources, because that's where the majority of our audience is based, we're always eager to cover cleaner, greener, safer and smarter transportation from other nations. And Swedish-Kenyan company Opibus is one such company we love to cover. Committed to help sub-Saharan Africans electrify their transportation, Opibus has helped electrify everything from public bus services to safari vehicles used by tour companies and wildlife reserve rangers. It's even been working to help citizens and communities generate their own power with photovoltaic solar panels and wind turbine installations. But its biggest impact to date is probably its electric motorcycle program, which has helped convert Kenya's immense motorcycle fleet to electric. And this week, the company announced a new partnership with Uber that will see 3,000 electric motorcycles deployed for use by Uber across the continent. I cannot wait to see how this shapes up. If there's one company we've seen go through incredible growth this year, it's Indian firm Ola Electric, which has not only seen its Ola S1 and Ola S1 Pro enjoy incredibly high pre-order demand, but also a dramatic rise in the company's valuation. This week, Ola officially began deliveries of the Ola S1, its first highway-capable scooter. This week, Ola began official deliveries of the Ola S1, one of its first highway-capable scooters. Built with urban and suburban routes in mind, the scooter has a top speed of around 70 miles per hour, which is 130 kilometers per hour, and is proving very popular with customers. The first cities to get the Ola S1 and its own network of charging stations are the South Indian cities of Bengaluru and Chennai, while the price, 99,990 rupees, or about $6,500 US, is on the expensive side. The company hopes to trickle down its electric vehicle technology from the S1 and S1 Pro to more budget-oriented models in the future. Watch this space. And finally, when it comes to tyre-squealing, high-precision driving, there are few people out there that can match the sheer skill and showmanship of Ken Block, aka the Hoonigan. And for many years, Block has enjoyed a partnership with Ford, showcasing his skills and Ford's engineering with lavish, highly choreographed gymkhana videos. But earlier this year, we learned that Ken Block was ending his exclusivity contract with Ford and was looking to work with other companies as well, Audi being one of them. This week, we got to see the fruit of that new relationship, with Block teasing the all-electric Audi S1 e-tron Quattro car that Audi has built for him. In a 15-minute video on his channel, Block explores the engineering and design work that went into his new car, aka the Hoonitron. And while we didn't get to see him drive it, we cannot wait for that day to happen. And on that note, we are done for the day. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next episode. And if you haven't already switched, why not switch to New Zealand's only carboNZero certified renewable electricity company? If you make the switch, you'll be helping New Zealand wean itself off dirty energy and onto clean green power that will keep the land beautiful for generations to come. I'll be back next week with more awesome content, but until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield. Ka kite! See you next time.